Have you ever wondered, how are tons of fresh fish brought from the sea to your table every day? In a place where there are only big waves, strong winds, and the salty taste of the ocean, are people silently fighting with nature, every day, every hour? Let's follow us on a dramatic trip to the sea where each catch is not only fish, but also the sweat, strength and survival of the seafarers. Each fisherman still clung tightly to the deck, their thin raincoats unable to stop the howling winds. The giant net began to be pulled up, heavy after many hours of being dropped deep in the ocean. And then suddenly appeared, a giant white figure struggled in the net. The big fish, sometimes up to a meter long, and weighing tens of kilograms, are pulled out of the net with both strength and patience. It is not always easy, because these wild creatures are still struggling and aggressive. Every movement must be precise and well coordinated. One person holds on tight, another loosens the rope, and another is ready to use tools if necessary. And here the worthy reward after all the struggling with the rough waves, a giant fish. So heavy that it took a tow rope and human strength to move it. Every pull, every turn must be done with care. One slip, and the cramped deck can become dangerous. After a preliminary inspection, the fish are quickly taken to the holding area, ready for the journey back to land. Each fish is a story, the result of a collective effort in the midst of a ferocious ocean. As the sun gradually set, the last rays of the day cast a gentle pale yellow on the ship. But on the deck, no one allowed themselves to rest. Still steady steps, still the nets heavy with seawater, still the calloused hands pulling each stroke firmly. This was the last catch of the day, or perhaps the golden catch. The sea is even more calm in the evening, but behind that silence is a process of constant struggle, where people and the sea seem to understand each other through every movement. In a moment, when the net is collected, the fish are resting in the cold compartment. The ship will turn back, but for now, they continue as if the sea has not stopped calling their name. Boom! The whole catch of fish came pouring down like a waterfall, echoing across the deck. The sound of the fish splashing and the water splashing mixed with the cheers of the seamen. Each fish glistened in the afternoon sun like raw silver coins, proof that a day of drifting on the open sea was not in vain. When the deck was full, the baskets of fish began to be passed from hand to hand, taken down to the storage hold below. Each heavy basket of fish was lifted with all its strength and skill, gently but firmly. Down below, the receiver quickly arranged them neatly in the storage compartments, keeping them cold so that the fish would remain fresh until they reached the dock. In the midst of the crystal clear waters, the fishermen continued to work. They used all their strength to pull the heavy nets as if they were pulling the entire ocean onto the boat. Thousands of fish of all kinds, red, white, yellow, poured out like a shower in the midday sun. The deck of the boat glowed with the silver light of the fish, and joy was evident on each person's face. This was not just seafood, it was the blood, sweat, and pride of people who dedicated their lives to the sea. The industrial trawl system operates tirelessly amid the roar of the waves and the gusts of wind. The heavy chains slowly rotate, rolling around the deep sea. But no matter how advanced the technology is, at the other end of the net is still the fisherman, observing, feeling, and deciding based on the experience accumulated from the years of drifting. In the cold, windless space, the ship still operates. The giant nets filled with spoils are slowly lifted. The fish gradually slide down to the stainless steel tank below. No more pulling hands, no more hurried shouts. Instead, there is order, rhythm in every movement of the cable, real and absolute concentration from the crew. Each batch of fish falling into the tank is a part of the end, marking the completion of the sea journey. The large winch system rotates tirelessly, pulling each meter of net weighing tons from the deep sea. Each whirring sound of the engine is a reminder, the sea is never easy. Below deck, the sailors have to carefully observe each section of rope, each turn, because even the smallest mistake in net collection, broken net, tangled rope, work accident can cost a lot of money. The last of the nets finally rose from the water, bulging like a sea dragon stretching across the wet deck. The heavy nets swept across the deck, glistening with the fresh fish and the salt water. The crew now worked as a unit, fast, precise, and determined. As soon as the fish are pulled up, the next journey begins, this time no longer about pulling nets or facing the wind and waves, but a race against time to maintain freshness down to the last minute. In the processing area right inside the boat, each fish is classified, cleaned, and put into the processing line. Workers work urgently and precisely, as if each movement is part of the fishing boat's heartbeat. Not all nets bring back small fish. Sometimes, what lies in the net is a real predator of the ocean, a giant shark, with sharp teeth and overwhelming strength. With their calm and experience, the fishermen do not panic. They know exactly what to do. Each movement is quick, coordinated, keeping both people and boat safe. And here, a real trophy, a yellowfin tuna, the most valuable fish on the market, is being carefully lowered into the hole. Not only does it weigh tens of kilograms, but every piece of meat of this fish is the result of a long journey out at sea. Thank you for joining us on our journey to the sea today. See you on the next sea trips. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support those working in the sea.